As with many events in the UK, we've been affected by the weather, and that means the stages are going to be incredibly challenging.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 60. Right 3, 40, turn right line narrow.
Jersey, known for its sandy beaches, its friendly people, the stunning coastline, and of course the motorsports. Well, 30 years ago, someone suggested sending rally cars through these leafy lanes, and with this being the 30th anniversary, we caught up with original car club member Ken Thompson.
The club ran a tarmac event on closed roads, and it worked out really well. And we managed to convince the legal bods that rallying was racing against the clock. And they said, oh, that's OK, you can close roads for rallying. And so we started the Jersey Rally.
So 30 years later and 34 stages on closed roads, 2012 saw the event attract an 86-car entry. A lot of competitors come back year after year, one being Andy Corner.
This is our 15th year. And previously before that, I used to come on holiday as a youngster. That was a few years ago, about 9 years. It's the social side as much as anything. Obviously, it's the closed roads, but everybody on the island, they're absolutely fantastic. They're so friendly, everybody wants to help out.
With the event 30 years old, it was quite appropriate that the Ford Escort dominated the field. Pete Rayner was back again in his Mark II, finished 4th last year. Can he improve on that?
If I could get 4th again, I'd be over the moon, but I think we'll struggle this year. It's very, very strong right through the top 15. With the weather being wet, the front-wheel drive cars, such as the Corner boys, will do very well. But we'll enjoy it and see where we are at the end of the rally.
Co-driver Teresa Fossey was back in an Escort with husband Stuart after her Darien experience with Ben Burt on last year's event.
It was very different because Ben had never done notes, he'd never done closed road rallying, so it was all new to both of us. We'd never sat together before, whereas Stuart and I have been together 16 years in the car, so it's quite normal.
Steve Leonard's dropped to a 2-litre.
Yeah, I've just dropped an engine size to try and get a bit more reliability with the car. I was getting a lot of problems with the car braking around the engine, so hopefully a bit more reliability this year, and might not be a good thing with the bit of rain, might help me out as well.
Number 1 seed Simon Major is back in a Ford Escort, looking for his 4th Jersey win. What was his game plan?
We won't drive flat out on the first couple of stages because there's too much to lose, really. It's very short stages, it's going to be slippy. Guarantee a lot of people will make some silly mistakes, and I hope it's not us. And really, like I say, such a long rally, you've got to be there at the end, really. And looking forward to a good battle tomorrow with local lads. There's a lot of people who are going to try to beat us. A few wheeled rally cars out there and four-wheel drive cars, so I think the conditions are going to play into their hands. But who knows, with all sorts of weather forecasts. Some say it's going to be nice and sunny and dry, but this is Jersey, anything can happen, and I'm sure it's going to be wet for at least part of the rally.
So tyre choice was going to be a key factor. Well, the club organised some special anniversary stages for the Thursday nights. It was down to the People's Park for the ceremonial start. 4 stages to be run along Victoria Avenue, and rally fans were out in force. They were not going to be disappointed. Car 1 on the start line. The 30th anniversary was underway. And care had to be taken on this stage as hitting a chicane would carry a 30-second penalty. And then word came through Major had taken the wrong route from the start line. That carried a stage maximum penalty.
The first corner, it was very poorly marked actually, so we weren't 100% sure where we were supposed to be going. I think it was meant to be a hairpin left, but we sort of went square left and found ourselves on the other side of the road. But there was a gap there, so we went for it. But it was very poorly marked. But it's very difficult. I know it's difficult for the organisers on a little stage like this to actually clearly mark it, but I'm sure it'll pan out.
Were the other drivers aware of Car 1's dilemma? Lee Vivian was also having problems. No time penalties, it was the car.
No, we got a major misfire problem and we lost the launch control and everything, so we got big problems before we started, so let's hope we can fix it now.
Pete Rayner was having clean runs and playing the careful game.
You've just got to be so careful with the chicanes because it's a less than a minute stage, but you can lose 30 seconds with a penalty for touching a chicane. So you've just got to be sensible.
Simon Chapman should have taken advantage, but he clipped a chicane. That sent him plunging to 46th overall. A last-minute engine build for Andy Corner, and the crowd were loving the sound from the Peugeot. Entertainment and some quick times. Second overall at the end of this first loop of stages. Son Dan, not to be outdone, was quicker than his dad on 2 of these stages, and third overall. Neat and tidy and surprise leaders after these stages, Richard Fishley and Kim Bruton. And Ian Barnard delighted the crowd with this incident. And he was glad that happened here rather than a tight lane. So the crowds went home happy. On to day 2. Friday, and in service, we had a word with this rally fan who wasn't going to miss this event.
Well, 2 weeks before the event, I got chronic lung pneumonia, ended up flat out in hospital. Pleaded with the doctors to give me as much medication so I could get over here. They weren't very happy, but I had to be here. I had to do it for myself, my family, and just to be here for the event, really.
A few of the drivers wish they'd been a bit tidier the night before. Adrian Smeck.
Unfortunately, we took a chicane out and we took a penalty, so it threw us out straight away, and really it sort of put a dampener on the rest of the stages for us last night. But OK, we're here today and we'll do the best we can today.
First Jersey event for Dave Earthy and Maria Rayner. A bit nervy about these daytime stages.
Excited, but very nervous, so but it should be good,
Well, with Simon Major off the leaderboard, has that given top Jersey seed Steve Leonard hopes of winning the event?
It has, but he's still very quick and he will be trying hard, so he'll still think he'll be coming up through the pack very quick.
Into the action then. This was the Trinity stage. Simon Major had put in an appeal against his stage max, and he was trying to take back some time he may have lost.
Yeah, from a personal point of view, we'd rather not have to push like that. We'd rather start on an even keel, really.
No one yet knowing the outcome of that appeal, so Steve Leonard was still pushing hard. Jeremy Baudin was penalised for a jump start the night before, plunging down to 60th overall. He had some work to do. This Trinity stage proving to be quite challenging with the changing conditions, but the Fossies were on the pace. And Lee Vivian was going very well in the wet and challenging Steve Leonard for that top spot. It was then on to La Platon and a dry stage. Major was still on max attack, not knowing that last night's incident was caused by the wind blowing over a no-entry sign. He'd won his appeal. He was now leading the rally.
Back to where we should be, and yeah, I think we've got a reasonably comfortable lead. Although, you know, it's only a small mishap around here, and you can soon lose that.
Well, taking 2 seconds out of that lead, Steve Leonard and Sean Humphreys. They couldn't lose sight of car 1. There was a battle going on for third with the Fossies just 2 seconds behind Leonard. 9 seconds behind car 1 on the leaderboard, and swapping fastest times, Lee Vivian and Rob Hanna were lying second overall. Glad to get through those spectator stages unmarked, Pete Rayner and Richard Bonner were now into rally proper. They were trying. Local man James Hansford's first Jersey Rally for 3 years. Doesn't look like he's been away. Andy Corner and AD Camp's mission was to test the new engine. Let's go on board.
And it's easy right and easy left. 60 to caution, bus left long. 60 to easy right 100.
Back at Trinity, and Stuart and Teresa Fossey were on a charge, still fighting for that third position. Paul King and Alicia Miles were improving their stage times. The new 2.5 litre engine was performing. And Dan Corner was having a great day, not only quicker than his dad Andy, but also leading the front wheel drive class.
One right, Dan. So one right, 60, 5 left long, 60, turn hairpin left, braking. 100. Square right, slippy. 60. Square left. Coming up to a fast section.
Well, we're coming to the end of the first set of daytime stages. Jim Munden and Andy Frost were lying 5th overall. Darryl Morris and Jason Thibault were very happy in 8th position. And rounding off the top 10, Tyson Flath and Daniel Channing. Hovering just outside the top 10, Stuart Le Breton and Justin Bush. Adrian Smeks was enjoying these runs and prefers them to the dark ones. Guernsey crew John and Gary Roberts. John's competed on 29 of the 30 rallies and had a bit of an excursion on this one when trying to make up time lost with an earlier misfire. And you won't have seen these in the Jersey lanes before. Project Mobility, a charity aiming at getting disabled servicemen into rallying. 3 crews were entered, only 2 made it to the night stages. Another crew who didn't make the night stages, Richard and Irene Lucy. This is how the leaderboard looked after 10 stages. Stage 11 saw the Fossies hit a granite wall, and that was the end of their rally. So that saw some crews move up a place. Major and Kamak lead the way. Join us after the break for more action from the 30th Jersey Rally. Welcome back to the 30th Jersey Rally, and you join us on the Waterworks stage, famous for being dark, very dark, and very slippery. These are the real night stages. First to go into the Waterworks, Simon Major and Brian Kamak. They weren't the quickest, showing some caution, and 4th on this first run through. Steve Leonard and Sean Humphreys were next in, and were hoping it wasn't going to rain. They managed to take 2 seconds out of Major. But then it did start to rain. How was Jeremy Bodan going to treat this stage?
You can't control the weather, but you can control how you're going to drive. So it's just going to have to be sensible and keep it right. Don't do anything silly.
Bodan fastest on this run and storming back up the leaderboard. Off the pace, struggling with the car setup and handbrake problems, Lee Vivian would drop a few places in the dark. Second fastest on this stage, James Hansford and Andrew Delacour. From this stage, it was over to Belazan. Pete Rayner was in line and waiting to start.
Yeah, pretty confident. Just got to be tidy. Just keep it neat and tidy and we should be okay.
Well, Pete's sounding pretty confident, but these stages demand respect. Further into the stage and let's go on board. Well, that was the end of Pete's main rally. Ray O'Donoghue's been through these stages before.
I'm always a bit apprehensive going into Belazan. It's going to be slippery. It's going to be, you know, I think it's side of caution for the first run through, and see what it's like. And after that, then we'll just see where we go. But it's going to be wet. Even if, you know, it was dry this afternoon, Belazan's going to be wet under the trees. It's going to be slippery and dangerous.
Just goes to show how tricky these stages are. Back on board with Andy Corner and AD Camp.
Turn square left.
They went into Belazan, but they didn't come out.
40. Way up. What's up? Oh, we're on fire, mate. We're on fire. There's water everywhere. Engine's gone. Get right in.
So at the end of day 2, Major has a 24-second lead. And look at Bodan, now sitting in 3rd. Lee Vivian dropped to 4th, but just 2 seconds behind Jeremy Bodan and James Olivero. James Hansford had gained 2 places and was just behind the Subaru. Still leading the front-wheel drive class and 6th overall, Dan Corner and Mark Regan. And look at that battle developing between Le Breton and Morris. Onto the Saturday stages. Well, the crews that had retired from the main rally could rejoin in the Saturday's Trophy Rally. Project Mobility's Ed Cobley and Gary Simpson tell us more about the project.
The project really is about a bigger picture. It's not just racing. Most of the drivers here have put our own time in to help the guys out. We really are going to be getting people into mechanical, engineering, building the product, even team managers. It really is a complete package of running the team. And we've made, I think, a lifelong bond. When I go back to the UK, hopefully building my own vehicle that I can bring into the project, this man will be my new co-driver.
Obviously, first time in a navigator seat, first time really doing anything of this nature, and it's been interesting. It's good to learn, learning off professionals like Ed, and it's taking me on leaps and bounds. It's made me forget about my problems. It's assisting with that, and it's taken me to a new stage, and I'm enjoying it. It's good learning. It's good to do it.
The Rossignol stage and the Subaru's problems were corrected overnight. Lee Vivian was really pushing on Saturday stages, moving back up to 3rd overall. James Hansford had Bodan in his sights and took 4 seconds out of him on this stage. Dan Corner was next out, and his lights give an idea of the surface of this stage. Still 6th overall.
It feels really good. I was never expecting to be up as high as we were last night, going into the dark. I thought yesterday afternoon stage the cars would have started to pull some time back, but no, really happy.
Simon Chapman had clawed his way back into the top 10 and was still climbing the leaderboard. On board, Mark Foote calling the notes.
And right 2, 130 up middle, so left 7, and left 2. 100, turn left 9.
The Brellard stage, and we were just about to lose the Subaru.
Unfortunately, we got a front diff problem. It's connected to the gearbox, and we've had to call it a day. It simply won't do the next 10 stages in front of us. Something will go wrong. So rather than hold somebody up behind us or cause problems for the stages and us, and we'll call it a day.
Jim Munden and Andy Frost were just behind the 6R4 on the leaderboard.
Right, opens. 3 left, flat. 82 left, flat, over crest. 100.
James Hansford was driving on the limit to keep up with the top 3.
Taking some chances this morning just to stay up with the boys. And, yeah, it seems to be paying off at the moment. A bit worried about these next 2, but we'll have to see how it goes, isn't it?
Paul King wasn't seeing much advantage of the bigger 2.5 engine in the wet, but it was starting to dry out.
Just go flat out now. It's you know, the weather's coming to us, so hopefully we'll get a result from it. We'll see what happens.
Andy Corner had put the Peugeot back on the road. It wasn't smoke after all, it was steam. So back out in the trophy rally, but not for long.
We went out on the trophy, everything seemed fine, but Aid's lost his voice again, bless him, and I can't understand what he's saying, so we just decided to be safe.
Overnight repairs for Pete Rayner saw him back out in the trophy rally, but something wasn't quite right with the car. Pete pulled out for safety reasons. Colin Edmund had a drive shaft go on the main rally, perhaps trying a bit too hard to win the trophy. This is how it looked with just 8 stages to go, and all eyes were on that battle for third place. Less than a second between the 2.5 litre Baudin and the 2 litre Hansford. Baudin's time was quick. Could Hansford steal this stage and go third? Let's go on board. Too much damage to continue. Challenge over. Simon Chapman and Mark Foote move up to 4th. Further down the field, the Romero brothers were enjoying their highest seeding on a Jersey Rally, but the gearbox was just about to let them down. The North Stage and Paul King feared the worst when he heard a loud bang from the rear of the car after an acute left. He needn't have worried, just a damaged rim. Ron Allen was happy with the 6-month rebuild. Scared himself a bit on the dark stages and his spots were pointing down at the ground. Andy Falconbridge managing to get the big Audi round these stages. Happy with a top 20 finish. And what a way to celebrate your 40th birthday with the family over from Ireland to see him, JJ Gallagher. Well, we're nearing the end of the day. And they did win the trophy rally. Colin Edmund and Gino Gavia. Keeping the car the right way up on this event and winning Class A, Stuart Thompson and Lee Dare. Winning Class B in the Ford Anglia, Simon Lenoa and Katie LeBlanc. Paul King and Alicia Miles were aiming for a top 10 finish, just missed out, finishing 11th overall. Ben Andre and Adam Harvey were 10th. A great event for Richard Fishley and Kim Bruton. They finished 9th overall. 8th, Darryl Morris and Jason Thiebel. Stuart Le Breton and Justin Bush won that Mark II battle, finishing 7th overall. A fantastic event for Dan Corner and Mark Regan. Winning the front-wheel drive class and 6th overall. 5th, the entertaining Jim Munden and Andy Frost. After the hiccup on that Thursday night stage, Simon Chapman and Mark Foote finished well, 4th overall. A great drive from 60th to 3rd overall, Jeremy Baudin and James Olivero.
I'm really pleased where we finished and position we finished in today, obviously. We've had a great drive. Conditions have been really testing. Just saying to Simon there before, it's probably been one of the hardest Jersey rallies we've done with changing conditions, because you go out on the wet tyre for a wet stage, but then the next one it's been dry and it's been quite a challenge, but it's been good and interesting.
Desperate to win their home event, but it wasn't going to be this year. 2nd overall for Steve Leonard and Sean Humphreys.
Yeah, we're feeling really good about it. Had a really good weekend, I think, didn't we? So no problems. Couldn't quite keep up with him, but next year.
So their 3rd Jersey win in a row. That's 4 altogether. Winning the 30th Jersey Rally, Simon Major and Brian Kamak.
Relieved and just, chuffed actually, just to get to the finish of this one. Done a lot of tough rallies over the years, and this must be right up there with one of the toughest events we've ever done. A long rally, 3 days, and Stevie Leonard, fair play to him and Sean. They're pushing us hard the whole way. It's just a very, very tricky rally.
Well, that's it from us and the 30th anniversary of the Jersey Rally. Simon Major and Brian Kamak have made it 3 in a row. Can they do a 4th? We'll just have to wait and see.